Hey, what's going on, everyone? Nick Yuskevich here again with Daily Fantasy Winners. We've got the next tournament here in this episode of T2 Green, and this is the Honda Classic this week. We are now moving on to the Florida swing here in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We just came off the West Coast swing. We're over in California last week at the Genesis Open at Riviera in the LA area by Santa Monica, and so we are now on to Florida for the next month. And I bring this up for what you need to know about this tournament and really the next month or so is because while we're here for the next month, the Florida golf courses, just generally speaking, are relatively flat. They have a lot of water, particularly off the tee, and there's usually the rough isn't that bad at all. And so it's just kind of a different. The Florida golf courses are a little bit of a different style than just most of the courses on the PGA Tour. So it's a slightly different animal. So it's an important thing to note. And this course, PGA National, which is where this tournament is at, it's no exception. This is the same deal here. A couple other things to know about this tournament. This is a field that usually is pretty strong every year. The field this year is a little bit weaker, though. Unfortunately, a lot of guys played really late onto the West Coast swing, but usually they kind of carry over and come over play at the Honda Classic. But it's just a little bit weaker this year, unfortunately. But it's not a terrible field either, I guess. It's still got guys like Adam Scott, Zach Johnson, Sergio's in it, and a few other guys. Justin Thomas is in it, so it's still not a bad field overall, but a little bit weaker this year. Anyways, and then the last thing is we still have another strange week of the salary structure. I'm starting to think this is DraftKings claimed that they were going to be they're experimenting with salary structures early on in the season, but this is the same weird salary structure they've done now for pretty much at least a month. So this might be the new norm. I hope it isn't, but it looks like that might be what it is. So in any case, I apologize for not getting to the strategy video on this yet. It is coming very soon. But anything I say in terms of strategy falls in line with what will be said in that strategy video anyways here. So, but that will be coming soon to be in depth here. And so, in any case, let's move on to some details about the golf course. Again, this is at PGA National. This is a course actually a lot of pros have played at before. They usually live in the area. In Palm Beach Gardens, there's a handful of them, and they've played this course before numerous times. And a lot of people keep coming back here and playing this tournament frequently as well. So a lot of players have a lot of experience on this golf course. It's a par 70, tips out at 7,140 yards. 2 par 5s because it's a par 70, which are holes 3 and 18. Distance is not really needed for eagles here. It helps a tiny bit on 18, and it's a really cool finishing golf hole. But in any case, having driving distance really doesn't help you here with eagles either. There will be courses, I promise you, that do come up where driving distance helps more on eagles. That's more significant. It just hasn't been that many here so far to start the season. And again, it's just a reminder, this is a flat course with a lot of water on it, just as far as details on the course. There's also a golf course, though, in particular, though, that can be particularly windy, especially at the Bear Trap. The Bear Trap is a 3-hole stretch, kind of like Amen Corner is at Augusta National. The Bear Trap's a 3-hole stretch here at the PGA National, which are holes 15 through 17, I believe it is. And these holes are a very tough stretch. It goes par 3, par 4, par 3, but both par 3s are over water. The par 4, I believe, you hit a tee shot straight away, and there's water on the right, and the fairway slopes left to right, and then you have to hit over the water in your second shot. So you get a lot of swirling winds in there, particularly around the par 3s, and then obviously the par 4s, no picnic either. So expect some wide varying scores on those 3 holes, and so wind comes into play here a little bit. And so right now, as far as weather is concerned for the course here this week, right now, the weather's supposed to be pretty much perfect Thursday through Sunday, but there are supposed to be some winds in the 10 to 15 mile an hour range in the afternoons, both Thursday and Friday. I think Saturday and Sunday too. But in any case, we're not supposed to have bad weather here this week, Thursday through Sunday. Now, the only thing is there is supposed to be some rain, a fair amount of rain on Wednesday, and that technically it will soften the golf course. So it could technically give an advantage to Thursday morning, Friday afternoon, but it's going to be very minimal. Really wouldn't worry about it too much, and there really won't be much of a tee time edge this week, unlike last week. And I really hope everybody checked the weather again Wednesday night. Saw whether my update, whether it was on the Tee to Green episode last week in the comment section, or I tweeting it out and in the forum as well. There was a tee time edge last week, and it actually changed based on what I had said in the YouTube video or in the Tee to Green episode originally, and because the rain, the timing of the rain got changed and everything like that, and so that Thursday morning wave, Friday afternoon, the originally scheduled tee times, the guys that were supposed to play Friday afternoon did not have to play at all, and so they dodged pretty much all the horrific weather there. And so there was a little bit of an edge there. And obviously, Dustin Johnson destroyed the field. I mean, it's crazy. So, in any case, it's just a good reminder. For everybody, always check the weather again Wednesday night. It changes very frequently, and the tee time waves, it's very you're always trying to guess, but obviously the closer you get to the tee times, the better your guess is going to be. So, in any case, let's get on to the strategy. For cash lineups, again, it's the same salary structure. So again, we're going to follow the odds, as our base, so to speak, for the cash lineups and see where the best odds per dollar are. And odds per dollar tab is updated on DailyFantasyWinners.com. And GPP lineups, we will have the usual lists up, throughout the day on Wednesday. There have been some good fades actually over the last few weeks as far as golfers you should be fading for that are lower priced golfers who are very highly owned. The projections have been a little bit better over the last couple of weeks, still a little off here and there, and a couple have really blown my mind actually, but for the most part they've been pretty accurate and they haven't been too bad. So definitely check those out again as well for the GPP lineups. And then as far as the strategy goes in the statistics angle, there are two main things statistically we want to look at here from a strategy standpoint. The first and foremost, this is the most important of the two actually, is strokes gained approaching the green. This definitely makes sense and proves true pretty much every year here. Usually when you have a windy golf course and you have also difficult greens to hit, both being true here at the Honda Classic, that means strokes gained approaching the green is very important. You want to be a very good ball striker. This is definitely just overall a ball striker's golf course. And so, and then the second area are players who are simply hitting the ball well as of late. Again, a ball striker's golf course. This can be strokes gained off the tee recently over the last handful of weeks, month or two. Could just be driving accuracy for this season, things like that. And, there's plenty of places you can go look up just how people are doing in each tournament, obviously, as far as those different statistics are concerned. So that's definitely where we're going to go in the statistics angle. The last thing overall in the strategy, though, this is where I would also mention good course history and Florida players. And obviously, if you've been following my content, I don't put as much stock into course history as some other people, just generally speaking. But I do put a little more stock into it. Just generally speaking here with the Florida history or courses similar to Florida courses. And again, I say this because these courses are a little bit more unique. They have tighter fairways. There's penalty stroke avoidance with a lot of water coming into play on a lot of the tee shots. There's not thick rough. It's a very flat course. You're not dealing really with elevation. All those kinds of things that you're seeing similar trends. So it's golfers that either have lived in Florida, maybe played college golf in Florida, although college golf, it's a little misleading. I think sometimes when people say like, oh, this person played college golf at this place, that means they have so much experience. But really, sometimes but maybe that player only played at that school for like 1 year or 2 years, and then they turn pro. And a lot of the times when they're playing their tournament rounds, they're actually not playing at home. They're traveling to other courses in other parts of the country a lot of the time. It's not like a basketball or football where you're playing more than half your games at home. So just keep that in mind. Like college golf can be a little misleading just when you see like, oh, somebody went to this school, they must have so much experience. And yeah, it could help a little bit, but it's more, I would say, like if you're going to use the growing up on the course aspect, I would really look at more where the person grew up as opposed to maybe where they went to school, because it can be a little bit misleading there if you're going to go that route. But just generally speaking, though, if you're looking for something that's a little bit easier to find, look for players that have good Florida history and course history here at PGA National with the Honda. Anyways, on to the picks. I'm going to give you kind of my two top picks in the upper salary range, and then I'll have all the rest of the picks up on DailyFantasyWinners.com. Picks here in the Tee to Green episodes have not gone quite as well as I would have liked here to start the season, but the picks over on Daily Fantasy Winners have been, obviously a lot more picks to go, or a lot more picks to choose from, but they've been a little bit better over there. And so definitely just a reminder to always head over to the website. Okay, so the top two picks, I'll just say them both at the same time here, Sergio Garcia and Russell Knox. Both definitely very good ball strikers who are very good in strokes gained approaching the green, and they both have good course history and Florida history, quite frankly. And so, Sergio, obviously, he hit the ball actually really well last week. Just obviously around the greens, he wasn't as good, which has been a little bit of a trouble for him off and on throughout his career, I guess, a little bit. But In any case, those are the two picks. They probably will be a little bit more on the higher owned side, but again, they're expensive plays, and I don't think it'll be too out of control anyways. But we don't have to worry about too much about ownership with the more expensive guys. So Sergio Garcia, Russell Knox are the two guys. I do think there really isn't a red flag with any of the guys of the most expensive guys. I'm just leaning a little bit more with the Florida history here with these guys. And if you want to know anything about like I'll comment in the forum on the top salary guys like Adam Scott. I think he's a great play, and he has good history here. He's actually the defending champ, which is probably why he has the most expensive salary. But it's just important to keep in mind that Scott has not played nearly as much over the last, tournament-wise. He hasn't played that much this year. And the one thing I didn't like about last week is Scott. If you take a look at everybody that made the cut at Riviera, the 70-plus guys, Adam Scott was 64th out of the 70-some golfers in fairways hit. And I really like guys that are hitting the ball well as of late, and I see something tangible there. So, I mean, it's not to say that means, Scott's definitely going to play horribly. It's just not my favorite choice for the guys at the top. So I'll comment with things like that in the forum as I do each week. And you can hit me up with questions there. Over there at the website, and you can always hit me up on Twitter at Nick Yuskevich. Daily Fantasy Winners is at DFantasyWinners. And then if you like these videos, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, everyone, good luck.